There comes a time in every life when you must choose. Will you live your days reacting, or will you live them rising? You've probably felt it, that burn in your chest when someone talks down to you, the storm in your mind when someone disrespects your time, your efforts, your name. It's in those moments when your peace is threatened that your future is decided, not by what they did, but by what you choose to do next. And most never stop to think about that. They spend years waking up angry, walking through the world with a chip on their shoulder, snapping at anyone who rubs them the wrong way, because they never trained their emotions. They never developed the strength to master their reactions. And if that sounds familiar, good, that's where the work begins. See, I learned something early. People are going to disappoint you. They're going to lie, gossip, ignore you, criticize you for no reason, and sometimes even hate you for doing well. That's not personal, it's human nature. And if you don't train yourself to rise above it, you'll be stuck reacting for the rest of your life. But life is too short for that. Every second you waste being angry at someone else is a second you gave them control over you. And I don't know about you, but I don't hand out control like candy. I earn my peace, and I protect it like it's the most valuable thing I've got, because it is. You don't stop getting bothered by people by avoiding them. You stop by becoming stronger inside. You stop by building a mindset so stable no insult can shake it. That's not about being cold or detached. That's about being deeply in control of who you are and how you respond. And make no mistake, this is a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build one decision at a time. But first, you've got to be tired of being emotionally exhausted all the time. You've got to want peace more than you want revenge. You've got to be hungry for clarity, not chaos. Every person you meet is fighting their own war. Some are drowning in insecurity. Others are trapped in jealousy or bitterness or fear, and they will project it onto you. They'll try to provoke you, make you feel small, drag you down into the emotional mud. But here's the secret. You don't have to follow them there. You don't have to swing back every time someone throws a punch. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your peace is not up for debate. And once you decide that, once you set that standard, people feel it. You walk differently. You talk differently. You're not so easily pulled into arguments. You're not looking for drama because you've got too much discipline to waste your time on emotional games. It starts with belief. You've got to believe you're not here to fight every battle. You're not here to win every argument. You're here to live with purpose, to grow, to contribute, to lead. And anger will destroy that faster than anything, because anger clouds judgment. It hijacks your mind and steals your time. You don't think clearly when you're angry. You don't speak wisely when you're triggered. You don't build anything lasting from a place of rage. That's why you've got to slow down and breathe. Before you react, pause. Before you explode, reflect. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Will this moment help me grow? Or is it just another distraction? People think control is power. It's not. Emotional stability is power. Discipline is power. The ability to stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds, that's real strength. And you can train that. You can train your mind to stay quiet when someone provokes you. You can train your body not to tense up every time you feel disrespected. But that takes work. That takes patience. And it takes the kind of self-awareness most people never develop. Here's a truth that will change your life. Not everyone deserves your response. Just because someone talks doesn't mean you have to listen. Just because someone throws dirt doesn't mean you have to throw it back. Some people want you angry because it makes them feel powerful. Some people need you upset because they feed off drama. Don't give them what they want. Let them shout. Let them criticize. Let them gossip. You don't owe them your peace. I know it's not easy. I've been there. I've had moments when I wanted to explode, when I felt like someone had crossed the line and I had to set the record straight. But every time I stayed calm, every time I chose stillness over reaction, I felt stronger, not weaker. Stronger, because I proved to myself that I was in charge of me, that no one else could decide how I felt or what I did. And that kind of strength, that kind of mastery, it's rare, but it's available to anyone who decides they want it. You've got to create a mental filter. Not everything needs to get through. Not every comment is worth your attention. Not every look is worth your energy. Ask yourself, what am I really here for? Am I here to defend my ego every 5 minutes? Or am I here to grow into the kind of person who can't be shaken by noise? The world is loud. The world is messy, but that doesn't mean you have to be. You can walk through the chaos with your head high and your mind clear. You can build a kind of focus that's stronger than pettiness. You can create a rhythm to your life that no one can interrupt. Not critics, not insults, not setbacks. But you've got to want that more than you want to be right. You've got to want inner strength more than you want to win every petty war. And that's where clarity comes in. You've got to be clear on what matters. You've got to decide what you stand for, who you want to be, and how you want to feel. When you're clear on that, everything else fades into the background. People can mock you, ignore you, misunderstand you, and it won't touch you. Not because you're numb, but because you're focused. And clarity is a weapon. It protects you from wasting time. It shields you from unnecessary battles. It keeps you grounded when life tries to shake you. Purpose is the anchor. When you live on purpose, you stop chasing approval. You stop reacting to noise. You stop living for the next reaction. You start showing up with intention. And that kind of presence, it changes everything. It makes you magnetic. People sense it. They feel the calm in your energy. They see the discipline in your eyes. They know they can't pull you into their storms because you've built a different world inside of you. A world where peace is the priority, where growth is the goal, where discipline is non-negotiable. And that discipline, it shows up every time you stay calm in the face of disrespect. Every time you walk away instead of arguing. Every time you smile and move on instead of defending yourself to people who were never listening. That's discipline. That's strength. And that's how you win, not by shouting louder, but by standing taller. Now let's talk about action, because nothing changes without it. You can't just think your way into peace. You've got to train for it. Start by watching your triggers. Notice what gets under your skin, and then dig deeper. What's really behind it? Is it your pride, your fear, your need to be liked or respected? Whatever it is, face it. Don't run from it. The more you understand your reactions, the less power they have over you. The more honest you are with yourself, the stronger you become. Every day you get chances to train your emotional control. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone posts something ignorant online. Someone makes a joke at your expense. That's your moment. That's your workout. That's your opportunity to rise. Not later, not someday, now. And you build momentum, one calm decision after another, one moment of stillness at a time, until it becomes who you are. Not someone pretending to be calm, but someone who actually is, because you've done the work, because you've outgrown the noise, because you've built something inside that no one else can touch. That's not arrogance. That's maturity. That's mastery. And it's available to you, starting right now. You build this strength the same way you build anything else, by practicing it, by getting up every morning and reminding yourself what matters, by deciding ahead of time how you're going to respond when life tries to pull you off course. That's what most people never do. They leave it to chance. They wake up and let the world decide how they're going to feel. Someone gives them attitude, they respond with more. Someone talks down to them, they fight back harder. That's not control, that's chaos. And chaos will never lead to peace. You can't wait for peace to find you. You've got to create it. You've got to protect it. You've got to be intentional with it. That means saying no to the arguments that go nowhere. That means choosing silence over proving your point to people who aren't listening. That means walking away, not because you're weak, but because you've got bigger things to build. That's strength. That's how you grow. And that's how you free yourself from being tossed around by every careless word that someone throws your way. You have to ask yourself a hard question. What do I gain from getting angry? Do I gain respect? Do I gain peace? Do I gain clarity? Or do I just lose my time, my energy, my center? Because if anger gave you power, you'd feel stronger after you blow up. But you don't. You feel empty. You feel regret. You feel drained. That tells you everything you need to know. Anger is not strength. Anger is a trap. And the more you feed it, the more it controls you. That's why gratitude matters. You can't hold anger and gratitude in the same heart. You've got to choose. When you wake up and focus on what's working, when you take time to notice the good, even the smallest good, you become harder to rattle. You build perspective. You remind yourself that one rude comment can't ruin your day unless you let it. That one negative person doesn't get to define your world unless you give them the keys. You've got to stop handing out keys to people who haven't earned access. Just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean it deserves space in your mind. You've got to be selective. Who are you listening to? Who are you giving your energy to? Are they building you up, or are they draining you? Are they challenging you to grow, or are they keeping you stuck in the same emotional loops? You want to never get angry or bothered. Then master the art of protecting your focus. Because when you're focused, you don't have time to react to every distraction. You've got a vision, you've got goals, you've got work to do, and your energy is too precious to waste on emotional noise. People who are building something don't have time for gossip. People who are healing don't have time for grudges. People who are growing don't have time to sit in the same anger they've carried for years. They've moved on. They've made a decision. That decision is everything. The decision to take full control over your emotional life, to stop blaming other people for how you feel, to stop waiting for people to behave better so you can feel better. That's not power. That's dependency. And dependency always leads to disappointment. The real power is this: no matter what happens around me, I decide what happens within me. No matter what they say, I decide what I think. No matter what they do, I decide how I show up. That's how you break free. This isn't about pretending you don't feel things. You're human. You'll feel the sting of criticism. You'll feel the edge of disrespect. But the difference is, you don't stay there. You feel it, and then you rise above it. You process it, and then you move forward. Because your emotions are signals, not chains. They're meant to guide you, not control you. And the more you practice that, feeling without reacting, noticing without clinging, listening without absorbing, the stronger you become. You'll start to see the world differently. You'll start to see people's pain behind their behavior. You'll stop taking things so personally, because you'll realize most people are just projecting their inner struggles. You'll stop being surprised when someone lashes out, because you'll recognize they're just revealing their own battles, and you won't make it about you anymore. That kind of awareness is what sets you free, free from the trap of always needing to respond, free from the pressure to defend yourself, free from the addiction to being right. You trade all that for peace, and peace is the real win. And the best part? It compounds. Just like interest, just like discipline, just like growth. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Until one day someone says something that would have ruined your whole day in the past, and now it doesn't even touch you. You see it. You hear it, but you don't carry it. That's when you know you've built something real. And from there, life opens up. You spend more time in creation, more time in clarity, more time connecting with people who actually bring value to your life. You stop fighting battles that don't matter. You stop explaining yourself to people who've already decided not to understand. You stop living in defense mode, and you start living in purpose mode, because that's what this is really about. Living on purpose, with emotional maturity, with clarity, with discipline, with strength that doesn't need to be loud, with power that doesn't need to be proved. That's the life you build when you stop getting angry at every distraction. That's the life you build when you decide to own your reactions, no matter what the world throws your way. So from this day forward, remember, peace is not passive, it's powerful. Calm is not weakness, it's wisdom. And being unbothered doesn't mean you're numb, it means you're focused. You've got work to do. You've got a life to build. And you don't need noise to make progress. You need clarity. You need purpose. You need strength. And you've already got everything you need to create it. And when you fully understand that, when you stop waiting for the world to hand you peace and start generating it from within, you begin to live differently. You stop chasing emotional victories in every conversation. You stop needing to prove your worth in every room, because your worth is no longer up for debate. It's already decided by you. That's how people stop bothering you. That's how you break the pattern. You raise your internal standards. You stop reacting to every external trigger. You don't fight fire with fire. You remove the fuel. You see things for what they are, not for what your ego makes them out to be. You let go of the need to always be right. And in doing so, you become free. Because sometimes the greatest win isn't proving someone wrong. It's walking away from the fight and still feeling whole. Sometimes the strongest move isn't pushing back. It's staying centered, choosing your peace over their chaos. And that's not easy, but it's worth it. Because every time you choose that path, you're building something stronger inside of you. something unshakable. You begin to notice that life gets quieter but better, simpler but richer, because your attention isn't scattered anymore. It's intentional. It's focused. You no longer entertain things that drain your energy. You no longer overthink conversations or replay the past. You no longer carry old arguments like trophies. You let it go, and in letting it go, you grow. It's funny, people think being calm means you don't care, but it's the opposite. You care deeply, just not about things that lower your standards, not about people who play games with your energy, not about opinions that come from people who haven't built what you're building. That's what real maturity is. Not reacting, not because you're weak, but because you've got better things to respond to. And yes, you'll be tested. You'll be tested every day. Life will keep presenting you with people who trigger your old habits. They'll say the wrong thing. They'll do what you didn't expect. And that's when you decide again and again how you're going to live. That's when you reinforce your identity. That's when you remind yourself, I'm not here to be pulled into noise. I'm here to build peace, strength, and direction. Because you didn't come this far just to keep getting triggered. You didn't do all that growth, all that healing, all that work, just to hand your emotions back to people who don't value them. You've elevated, you've matured. Now your energy is a resource, and you spend it wisely. You protect it fiercely. You guard it like your future depends on it, because it does. Imagine if you kept all that energy you used to waste, all the time you spent arguing, defending, reacting. Imagine if you poured that into your goals, into your health, into your relationships, into your vision. That's the shift. That's what changes everything. It's not that life stops throwing challenges. It's that you stop giving your peace away for free. You realize something powerful. Nothing bothers you unless you let it. That doesn't mean you don't feel the weight. It means you don't let it define your state. You recognize that you're the one in charge, and you live like it. You breathe slower. You speak with more clarity. You move with more purpose. And when someone tries to pull you back into chaos, you smile because you know better now. You don't live there anymore. You live in discipline, in focus, in intention, and that becomes your edge. Because when you're calm in the storm, you make better decisions. You respond with clarity. You lead with confidence. People notice. They feel it. They can't shake you, and they respect that. Even the ones who used to test you, because they know now you don't rise to every bait. You don't play every emotional game. You've moved beyond it. And the more you do that, the more you attract people who are also grounded, who speak with honesty, not with ego, who build instead of break, who challenge you without disrespecting you, who push you to grow, not to explode. That's how your circle evolves. That's how your environment transforms. You become a magnet for what you reflect. So if you want peace, be peace. If you want strength, live it. If you want to never get angry or bothered, build the kind of life where distractions can't reach you. Build a mindset so solid, so rooted in purpose, that nothing external can break it. And when it tries, you remain calm, clear, focused, unbothered. That's who you are now. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You decided. You chose. You rose. And you never looked back. And once you've experienced that level of control, once you've tasted the freedom of not reacting, you'll never want to go back. You won't miss the arguments. You won't crave the last word. You won't need to be understood by everyone. You'll realize that most of what you used to fight for didn't matter. It wasn't about truth or clarity. It was about ego. It was about fear. It was about needing something from someone else that you hadn't yet built within yourself. But now you're building it. Now you're living it. You've stopped waiting for the world to hand you permission to be calm. You've stopped waiting for other people to behave right so you can feel right. That's not the path. The path is you. The control is within. The peace is something you earn, not something you stumble into. And every day you stay committed to that choice, you make yourself stronger. You start to see the difference between reaction and power, between noise and truth. You no longer rush into conflict to feel alive. You feel alive through purpose, through progress, through meaning. And you stop explaining that to people who don't understand, because your life becomes the explanation. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you stay composed under pressure, that becomes your proof. And people will notice. They'll test you at first because they're used to the old version of you. But eventually they'll stop, not because they've changed, but because you have. You're no longer available for every emotional game. You're no longer trying to win every debate. You're no longer willing to sacrifice your energy for someone else's entertainment. You're on a mission now, and your peace is part of the strategy. Because when your mind is calm, your thinking is sharp. When your emotions are stable, your actions are clean. When your heart is clear, your direction becomes obvious. That's the power of emotional control. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being focused. It's about being grounded. It's about knowing what actually deserves your energy and what doesn't. And the more you protect that, the more powerful you become. Not loud power, not aggressive power, real power. Quiet, consistent, unshakable power. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself because it's too busy creating results. The kind that doesn't collapse under pressure because it's built on discipline. The kind that doesn't panic in conflict because it's been through worse and grown stronger. You'll notice your days start to feel different, not because they're easier, but because you're stronger. The same problems might still show up, but your response is different. Someone disrespects you, you stay grounded. Something doesn't go your way, you pivot instead of panicking. Someone tries to trigger you, you see through it. Not with judgment, but with clarity, because you're not interested in being dragged down. You're too committed to rising up. This is what it looks like to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Not because the world is perfect, but because your mindset is intentional. You've trained your emotions. You've chosen your perspective. You've prioritized your peace. And now nothing outside of you can touch that unless you invite it in. That's the lesson most people never learn. You don't need to fix everyone else to feel better. You don't need the world to stop triggering you. You just need to stop giving away your power. You need to stop believing every thought, reacting to every emotion, chasing every conflict. You need to remember that you are not your anger, your triggers, your reactions. You are the one who observes, the one who decides, the one who chooses, and that choice is your greatest power. The choice to pause, to breathe, to see clearly before acting. The choice to respond instead of react. The choice to rise instead of sink. And the more you practice that, the more natural it becomes, until it's no longer something you have to remember. It's just who you are now. Calm, focused, resilient. So when the world comes at you, and it will, you stand firm. You don't flinch. You don't fold. You don't fall into the trap of matching other people's chaos. You stay rooted in who you are. And in that you become untouchable. Not because nothing affects you, but because nothing controls you. That is the life worth building. A life where peace isn't something you find, it's something you bring. A life where you're no longer shaped by the noise around you, but by the clarity within you. A life where your focus is protected, your energy is reserved for things that matter, and your days are spent building, growing, and living with purpose. This is the reward of discipline. This is the power of maturity. This is the freedom you earn when you choose not to be moved by every storm. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to prove anything to feel worthy. You don't need to react to every disturbance to feel alive. You just need to keep showing up as the strongest, calmest, clearest version of yourself and let the rest fall away. That's how you never get angry or bothered by anyone. Not because you've escaped life, but because you've mastered it from within. And that mastery doesn't come in one moment. It's not a flash of insight. It's not a breakthrough that lasts forever. It's a choice you make every single day, in small moments, in the quiet, when no one's watching. When someone cuts you off, when someone speaks to you with disrespect, when someone tries to stir the fire inside you just to watch you burn. It's in those moments that your strength is tested, not by the world, but by the identity you're choosing to build. The identity of a person who doesn't hand over their emotions just because someone else hasn't learned to handle their own. The identity of someone who doesn't lower their standards just to meet someone else's dysfunction. The identity of someone who understands that peace isn't given, it's guarded every day, with intention, with awareness, with practice. Because your life will keep moving forward with or without your emotional control. Time will pass whether you stay angry or stay focused. Days will come and go whether you react to everything or decide what truly matters. But your quality of life, your mental strength, your direction, that is shaped by how you choose to respond. So choose power, not noise. Choose purpose, not conflict. Choose calm, not because you're passive, but because you've outgrown the battles that don't lead anywhere. You've outgrown trying to control people, and instead you've chosen to master yourself. And that mastery, once you live in it, it stays with you. It becomes your armor, your edge, your compass. It gives you the space to think, the clarity to move forward, the energy to build what matters, and the wisdom to walk away from what doesn't. And here's the truth. It's not about suppressing what you feel. It's about directing it. It's about knowing where to place your focus, where to invest your time, where to use your voice. You'll still feel emotions. You'll still have your moments, but you won't be led by them. You'll lead yourself. Because now you're the one in charge. You're the one deciding the tone of your day, the direction of your energy, the quality of your life. That's what it means to never get angry or bothered by anyone. It's not a fantasy. It's a decision, repeated, reinforced, lived. It's a commitment to clarity, to discipline, to inner freedom. And when you walk that path, when you really commit to that life, you discover something incredible. You discover peace where there used to be chaos. You find stillness in moments where you used to explode. You create power where there used to be weakness. You move with dignity instead of desperation. And you look back at the version of yourself who used to argue, explode, defend, and chase, and you thank them because they got you here. But you don't return to them. You've evolved. You've risen, and you stay there because your peace isn't up for negotiation. Your time isn't available for nonsense. Your life isn't designed to be a reaction. It's designed to be a creation, and you're the one creating it. One thought at a time, one choice at a time, one clear, grounded, unshakable moment at a time. This is your edge now. This is your foundation. This is the new standard. Stay there, unbothered, unmoved, unshaken, unstoppable,